Hello guys, how we doing? Bearded Brush, and here is the first of a new series, yay, of progress videos, vlogs on my new chosen army. That is the Mines of Moria. Awesome army. To be honest, I had many things planned, and it's thanks to this awesome geezer that this army becomes one I was going to go for. I was thinking Corsairs of Umbar. I was thinking of doing a Rohan force. It's completely centered around Theodred. Funny enough, Theodred. I think it's Theodred. An Ent army. I have a couple of metal Ents. I have the new Treebeard, and I'm going to be treating myself to Quick Beam, hopefully for Christmas. So yeah, I was going to do like an Ent force. Yeah, there's quite there's quite a lot of different things I was going for. It definitely, this army, Mines of Moria, was not an army that was even slightly on my radar. Yeah, I treated myself to this with a work-related like award scheme thing we get. We get points and stuff as like a thank you if we do a really good job at work, which is always appreciated. And I treated myself to this guy because I'd wanted him for ages. I still want the metal model because that just takes me back to my childhood. But when the made to order release a few months ago now, I say a few months, probably longer than that, when that was first put up, I'd budgeted to get the metal version. And when it came out, the price of it was it was way too much. All opinions aside, I understand why Games Workshop have to charge some of these prices, but that was far too much for what I was willing to spend. If it comes around again, I now know what I'm bracing myself for, so I can then purchase him, but at the time I was like, yeah, no way in God's green earth. So I went for the plastic mini, which, to be quite honest, actually is a fantastic model. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I actually love it. It's made me think, well, I'm not going to particularly need the metal one for some time. It's only for collectability anyway. And my progress rate, I mean, I'll probably won't get around to even painting the metal model, even when I do get it, for probably about 20 odd years. So yeah, there's no rush. But yeah, just because I got this guy, I treat myself to this guy, one of the big models that I'd wanted for some time, and yeah, it was just an awesome, absolute pleasure to paint, and I hope you guys are appreciating the awesomeness that this model is. I don't mean that as in my particular model, I just mean the model in general. Having said that, I am very proud of the painting. I hope you guys are too. So to sort of zero in more onto the model anyway, getting to the point. So here he is. Yeah, I just loved it. I worked on the mould lines. I mean, there is still a mould line here, as you can see. And I did use some. I've got some new little sort of they're sanding pads on like a foam, so they're really bendable and smishable, which is fantastic. And it has taken that line down a lot more. You wouldn't think it, but it has. But to me, like this one, you can probably see is a bit better. You can still start from this angle. That line's there. That line there. That line there isn't quite so obvious. Obviously, if you bend the light, you start to see it a bit more here. Bearing in mind I've painted some there. But this one I thought had completely gone until after I'd undercoated it, shaded it, and I was then sort of doing a very, very, very lightened black, basically. It was grey at the loosest sense of the word because it was so slightly grey. And that's when I started to notice this line. I thought, but actually, do you know what? To me, that actually flows into the wing, into the armature of the wing, to be honest. So I didn't go back to sand over it. I was going to, but I didn't because I actually thought, well, do you know what? To me, that works. But that's the flame effect. Now, this Balrog, fun enough, I actually painted him. So normally when I paint, like I'm sure you guys do, you set yourself up, give yourself a whole evening's worth of painting. But this guy, I built him, and he sat on the shelf for quite some time. And I was like, right, I'm going to go for this. I was going to paint him just for fun, paint him, no sort of army plans in mind. I'm just going to paint him, just going to go for it. And undercoated him, did all the blacks and stuff. Let me get a little focus going on there. There we go. And yeah, it just rolled. So literally, I had a Friday afternoon, finished early work for work. Friday after, I thought, right, children aren't about, wife's at work and stuff, I know what I'll do. I'll just do a bit of the black stuff. So I've worked on the black. And very quickly got them sorted out. Sal worked on the wings. Now, a fellow YouTuber who, if I could remember him, I'd give him credit, and I honestly can't, but if you look up the Balrog painting videos, you'll see which one I mean. And he went for a brown effect on the wings. And I really liked that, because he was aiming for like a realistic bat wing looking type effect, basically. I like that, rather than it just being grey. I like the fact he's trying to go for this more fleshy, like realistic looking wings. So I was like, okay, let's go with it. So I did the same thing. Used Morphine Brown, XV88, Scrag Brown, all different shades. And this was dry brushed heavily after I'd done Abaddon Black, followed by Nuln Oil. And I just went dry brush nuts. Once I dry brushed it, after I was very happy with the wing effects, I then went back over with Abaddon Black all over the fingers of the wing. And then did a very, very light, hardly even noticeable grey, just standard Mechanicus grey, but I'd got rid of so much pigment off the brush, there's hardly anything left. So it just caused a very, very slightest of highlights. And that's all I wanted on this. I wanted the black to be paramount. I did use Nuln Oil as well, I should say. And the Nuln Oil was used to re-highlight all these little folds, all the crevices of the wing, all the skin of the wing. It took a long time, but again, it's one of those things where I find some of my best painting can happen through not dedicating an actual evening or the usual hobby algorithms as such. Like normally I'll sort of sit down, dedicate myself to an evening, right, I'm going to do this, brilliant, lovely, fantastic. But it was actually, this model was done through a lot of random bits of free time that I had, or, you know, I weren't in the mood to paint after work, children in bed, you know, wife's doing something to do with work, working from home in the evening. And I'm like, oh, do you know what? Sorry, I want to do some Balrog painting. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, that's come out really better than I thought it would. Like the lava, like the next thing I did was the lava, obviously. And it came out so well. I mean that in a nice way, not like in a, didn't this come out well? But it did. I was so pleased with it, considering this is a model that's, to be honest, slightly out of my comfort zone. I can't say I've ever really particularly painted flame. I've done oranges and yellows, obviously, like my old Drakari Force and stuff, but I've never like actively painted flame, and it came out really well, because it's like tricky line work, because you're working in between the crevices, and it was just a case of more of Mephiston red, Trollslayer orange, with a highlight of Uriel yellow. In fact, actually, I do believe it's the paints recommended on the back of this box. Yeah, it's the paints recommended on the back of the box, which I used. The only difference being the red, I actually used Mephiston red. I did use Evil Sun's Scarlet, but I used that as a 50-50 mix with the orange in certain points to make the orange pop slightly more. That was my thought anyway. But yeah, this is one of these models where it was, most of it was painted through, do you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to spend an hour painting on him quickly. I'm just going to do this for half hour. I've got a bit of free time. I'll work on the Balrog. And he come together so nicely. The only thing I dedicated real time to, like in a normal hobby sense of the word, was the face. And again, the face has come out really well. I'm really pleased. The horns were a mixture of slight dry brushing followed by individual edge highlighting, actually painting it on, which is something I didn't expect to be doing on this sort of model, but it was worth it, totally worth it. The flame effect was all dry brush. I'm pleased with the flame effect on his back. It's come out quite nicely. The only thing I'm not so sure about, right, I don't know what you guys think of this, is the sword. I like the sword, but I feel it needs a bit more colour. It kind of looks a bit dull. I think what I need to do, to be honest, is some more yellow in here. I wet blended, reasonably so, and then I actually painted white over it, very wet painted, very wettened white, is that a word? But really diluted, there we go, that's the magic word, white on the edge, and I wanted to make it seem as white hot, but it's kind of had the reverse effect. It's almost made it look a bit dull. Holding this model at an awkward angle is making me get the shakes. That's better. So yeah, so I need to do something here, I think, to make it pop a bit more. If you look here, over here, sorry, lots of yellow at the top, followed by the white, which makes it flow better. This kind of makes it look cold. It kind of makes it look dull. It's missing a gradient of colour. But for the moment, I'm happy with this, and I am pleased with it, but I think I want to come back to this. The base is that was a dedicated hobby night, I must admit, and that was just simple. Lots of dry brushing, lots of Mechanicus. I've painted a slight brassed, bronzy, almost oxidised colour on the highlight of the Dwarven shield, and it's red because I've got some original metal dwarves and they're red, so that's why that's red. I didn't go for the original green colour. When the dwarves first come out, there's a few posed metal minis, and they were green as the suggested colour. Well, say they were green, they still are, aren't they, with the plastics, but it was green as a suggested colour with like a yellow triangular edge highlight or yellow sort of lines and stuff. But I liked red, so that's what I've done with mine. I'll probably do some greens, maybe blend it a bit, but yeah. The flames were painted separately and glued on. I actually forgot about this one after I'd glued the Balrog on, which is a bit annoying because this piece actually sort of fits in and under this foot here, but I managed to jimmy it somehow. I've added a very slight, it's hard to get the light right, but hopefully you can see it. There's like a highlight of yellow, very lightly dry brushed highlight of yellow here to represent the flames glowing. Haven't done it with this one yet, I haven't got round to it, but I will do. But I've given it a very slight highlighted effect. Can't get the light. There you go. There, that's a bit better. So just there and just there. There we go. But yeah, so and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, I could go on and on and on because I'm just so in love with this model and how well he's turned out. You know, I'm really proud. The chest, one last thing. Highlighting black again isn't something I've done much of, considering I worked with the Drukaris and stuff. That was a bit easier. This is different. This is much more muscly and muscular. You can see the join line there for my sins. I thought they'd joined better, but never mind. We live and learn. But yeah, but the muscles come out really well. Again, that was mainly dry brushing, a couple of layers of Nuln Oil and Abaddon Black just back and forth. I know it sounds daft, but it actually did create a bit of a difference. It was ever so subtle, but it did work. So I'd recommend sort of mixing around a bit more. I hadn't personally, but now I've discovered it, I will keep using it. But it's just come out well. I didn't go mad highlights on the leg. I just did a few. I didn't want to go for all of this, and that wasn't through laziness or anything. But I felt less was more in regards to this. Because, I mean, you can see there's loads of bits there, there's loads of bits all down here. And the same with the tail. I could have gone, like in the actual official one, you get all the way down, you could do all in the wings, there's tons you could do. But I felt less was more. I felt focusing on the shoulders, the back, obviously the flames, the arms, making it seem like the flame was just reacting to almost where the light would be on the model, like the light coming down is like what's making the flame react. That's what I felt made it pop a bit more. I think in this case less is definitely more. That's my opinion anyway. But yeah, it was a joy to build. I had to use some Revel like modelling filling putty type stuff just to get in the grooves here and there. And that's awesome stuff actually. Stinks to high heaven, but I recommend it. It's only a few pounds, £5-6 at the most. Got it from Amazon. But that's really good stuff. It's a quick drying version of, I can't even say milliput really, because it's really liquidy when you first put it on. To be honest, it's basically like proper putty you'd use for walls, for and plaster and stuff. It's that kind of stuff. It does give off the same thing, and I actually even used it to fill a groove in my wall near my front door, and it's done the job better than standard filler would. So yeah, I recommend the stuff. It's from Revel, modelling putty, something like that. You'll see it's a little tube. But yeah, that's the Balrog in all his glory. And going forwards, it's time for Moria. I've been working on some goblins. I'll get a second video recorded and have that one ready as a bit of progress and stuff. But yeah, I'm really pleased. So I'll wrap it up there so I don't bore you to tears. I will come back to this model once I've finished off the little bits and bobs like here and the sword. I'll give like a final wrap up. Probably going to do the whole army over the next few months. But yeah, no, this is a cool army. This is going to be fun. I think because this is quite a spontaneous army for me to sort of really finally settle on, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun. I want to do a couple of conversions with the plastics. I want to convert up a different captain posed model as well. Steal some ideas off of Google Images and whatnot. Yeah, it's going to be good fun. Thank you for watching, guys. And also thank you. I've had a few more subscribers, 2 or 3 more subscribers. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, as always, keep modelling, and I'll see you soon.